Hello everyone, I'm Samarth. Not like a really extraordinary person, but someone who is taking actions. Would start by how civilizations are changing, and we had like a bunch of millions and millions of civilizations, one upon the other, and still we do. But what does make the civilization keep going? It's the basic curiosity that lies within us. What makes us human, different from the other species out there? It's our ability to ask the questions, right? Because if we are asking questions, we are into the zone of being more curious, then into the zone of solving problems, and then coming up with the greatest tech giants or maybe the problem-solving companies. What makes us superhumans? So basically, if we are asking more questions than a normal person does, right, then we become people like Albert Einstein, Isaac Newton, who didn't just follow the traditional pathways in the school curriculum, but they also challenge the reality, challenge the global issues and different things. What is the basic problem currently in our situations, right? It's like if you see a normal person, the 4-year-old or the younger generations, they have, more questions than the normal adult does. This might not be the case with a lot of you, but for a lot, this does. It decreases as the time goes, but this I won't call a ordinary thing. It is a kind of a neurological tragedy because at which time, as we grow up, the synaptic connection within our brain, they tend to lose their ability, but they are brilliant brains. If we trace our step back in the history, they didn't let this happen. They actually stopped this from happening. How? Because they were in constant touch with questions. The basic questions they asked, that what led their brain to stay in a consistent situation of neurogenesis and neuroplasticity. Whereas basically a neurogenesis is a condition in which your brain keeps on creating more neural pathways if you are into the zone. What is basic human reward system? It's not like when we ask a question, when we are in a zone of asking more questions, it's not just like the dopamine which gets shocked up within our brain, but it's creating more neural pathways. That's how actually we are being more smarter in the generation. So if you see the traditional times, the classrooms and all, it used to be like no questions because society has always tried to bring less questions. They kind of punishes the curiosity because if you see in the traditional times, people who used to ask more questions were brought into the zone where they used to think they are not fitting in the zone because people tend to stay in the comfort zone. Because if you're in the comfort zone, then why would we ask more questions? But at the same time, scientists, right, in their laboratories ask more questions, and that actually what makes them different. If we talk about Marie Curie, we all know about. There's a word named pourquoi, which means why. Her why started why don't we have X-rays? Why don't we have physics theories which can revolutionize the traditional physics environment is there? That's why whenever she asked the question, it brought her brain, the prefrontal cortex and the different zones lit up. That's what brought her a great scientist. And let's talk about why, what was my why? Because I have a question. If you see there are traditional medicines, if you see a small medical strip, you'll see the medicine information is fitted like a printing, like a expiry date and everything is like a stamp. If you cut the medicine, whatever, it will all go, right? That's what actually I've been working on since my grade 9th. I'm trying to develop a new kind of an ink technology which can be brought up into every single tablet so that even if we have a single medicine tablet, we can get to know the entire biodata of that medicine. So this was my why. It is not like a rocket science, right? It is a very simple thing. It's just like a medical tablet. But it can make, change the way we are having the medicine right now because a lot of wastage happens. So this is actually my why. If I talk about NASA, they are in 1970, within the Apollo mission, the NASA scientists were brought up into a kind of a death sentence in their own system. It was the CO2 which was crumbling them. How? Because there was a problem where the CO2 emission within their own space, satellite and all, it was very, very much dangerous at that moment. So what they did, from a simple CO2 scrubber like a duct tape and a fitting mechanism like a stuff, they created the CO2 scrubber. And that was something which changed the entire system in which the CO2 is being harnessed within the satellites. If we see our child's why, it becomes, for example, like if I'm a student within our Indian education system, if you see, if I ask a question to any teacher or any person, the straight up answer is like, because I said so. This might not be the case within my school, but a lot of school does. So it's just a matter of going out, exploring more, and talking to the people who are right into the environment and stuff. How can we harness the power of why? How can we stay up to the date? It can be brought up by asking questions. Why am I stressed? It can be because of deadlines. But why do deadlines scare me? Because of fear of irrelevance. In the MIT's and Harvard studies into the same thing, people showed up 70% more impact, more improvement in the way they did the jobs, and they are continue doing by asking questions in a kind of a formatted flowchart manner. If we see within our brain, the fear and the curiosity, it's very, very much opposite to each other. Because if you see the fear, if you are feared to do something different, right? But there's something named curiosity which exists at the same time, right? So it's all about how you conquer the things. That's where the flowchart mechanism comes into the picture, and that's bringing in more curiosity into the thing because you're asking the questions. It's just a matter of asking the question. There was a kind of a case study which was done by scientists at NASA. It's what if we are the aliens? And actually, this is a very interesting thing because if we see the bigger picture currently into how the things are going on, we have to ask questions into a very, very different fashion way. For example, if you see Elon Musk, he asked the question that can we change the way the normal traditional rockets function? How can you make it reusable, right? That's actually the alien questions because everyone there in the society is going to stop you from asking the alienated questions. So if we are being more alien kind of personalities, because if you see Mark Zuckerberg, if you see Steve Jobs, everyone was way different than a normal human, what we can regard as an alien. So the scientific why, actually when I was doing research last year with RIMS, basically I was working with neurological problems in Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, and I found that a basic music, there are different frequencies, there are different things which are being explored and are continue to be getting explored currently. I found the scientific temperament which is lacking in the today's youth, which is making them stick to their personal distraction and stuff. That if we are trying to bring with a reward system, if we are trying to bring it with a scientific temperament where they are getting some kind of rewards, because I was doing research and I represented India at the world's largest science and engineering fair, ISEF, and I found that people tend not to focus on the existing researches which are already available with us, but trying to build new things. But both has some kind of drawbacks. For example, if you're building new things, you need capital. But at the same time, if you see right now, China is making strides. They launched DeepSeek. They have launched Manus AI. But if you see the Manus AI, it's kind of an automation AGI, which is called Artificial General Intelligence, which is going to be the future of AI because agents and agentic frameworks are coming up into the picture. It's all about taking the things which are already existing. For example, the medicine strip one, right? That project I'm working with the DST, Department of Science and Technology in Government of India. It is a very simple thing. Anyone, all of us, we take medicine in some or the other way. Has it not flashed in someone's mind that if I'm getting a cut down strip of medicine where just 4 or 5 tablets, I won't be able to get to know about its expiry date or any other information, which is very much crucial with our health, right? So questions are already there, but just there's a matter of asking questions. For example, like if I ask questions that how can I harness the music systems to cure Parkinson's, not just like a cure, but a preventive measure that can help them to be more improvised into providing better healthcare facilities, they're what we as youth, we need to stand. This picture is Starry Nights, right? Everyone we know. Van Gogh, he was a very, very different person. But a lot of people we don't know, like, he had a lot of, he failed a lot of kind of, when he used to like pitch his paintings at great places, he used to be like thrown out like, "Way, what are you doing?" and stuff. But I mean, this is a kind of a story which is like not popular. If you read art, if you read history, you're gonna get to know more about the things. But as he like the persistence and the craziness within ourselves to do something different, that lights of a person that can be a person like who is creating Starry Nights, creating potato eaters kind of paintings and can be world famous kind of stuff. I would like to end up with a very powerful quote which I really like, because if the why is powerful, the how is easy. Thank you so much.